What is up, everyone? And welcome to another episode of Coffee with Hooligans. Please take a second to hit that like button. The more likes that we get in a short period of time, the more people the algorithm will bring into the chat to come and hang out with us and see what's going on. So please hit that like button. Let me know how you're doing, and happy freedom. Hope you guys are having a fantastic day today. Saturday, 2/11/23. I don't know why. Neck stiff, all locked up, full-blown migraine, eyeballs on fire, and somehow I'm still having a pretty good day. I think it's because the sun's outside, and I ain't seen the sun since September, October, something like that. So I think I'm going to go outside today. Either way, let me check on all you guys. Make sure all the lives are running. We are not going live on Facebook anymore. So whoever is over there watching, I appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you're on one of the live platforms today. Facebook does not treat me right. I've been doing this too long to not get my fair share. So to hell with Facebook. Moving forward. Wake up. You were the very first one across all platforms to show up. Big shout out to you today. What's up, No Mandates? What's up, Sly Dog? What's up, Days In? What's up, Paul? What's up, Cheeky Chops? What's up? What's up, OG Nutty Buddy? What's up, Chris? What's up, Ken? What's up, Bath Salt Reality? What's up, Robert? What's up, Speedy Girl? What's up, Salty Ginger? What is up, Rasta? What's up, Diane? What's up, Nightbot? I get down like that. What's up, JB? What's up, Ball? What's up, Chris? The other Chris? Appreciate you guys being here. Happy freedom. What's up, Snooks? Appreciate you. What's up, Harley? Harley, getting sunlight is racist. Could be. It could be, but that's too bad. That's too bad. You can't let labels hold you down, especially when it comes to being happy. What's up, Amanda? Oh, I think going outside will do me some good. I can't remember last time I did that. What's grass? I don't even know anymore. But that sunlight's got me fiending. I might go for a walk today. I might even vlog a little bit. We'll see how that goes. Maybe I'll have some fun content for you later on. Cookie Monster, tell us about the UFO. We will be covering that just a moment. Hold your horses. Hold your horses. Those racist horses at the border, right? Is those the horses? What's up, Nefties? What's up, Eric the Cat? What's up, Toy Mafia? Appreciate you guys watching on the JeffMAC Live YouTube channel. What's up, everyone on Twitch? Neck is broken. It's not moving smoothly. I need some WD squirrel pee. Try to loosen those joints up. I don't know what you guys call WD-40. That's what we call it around here. Did I show you guys the clip where they're making WD-40 cologne? Because men aren't men anymore. They gotta make cologne that smells like WD-40. Back in my day, you just caught a little, and then you got a little. If you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. Nefties, you're omnipresent. What's up, everyone on Odyssey? What's up, everyone on Rumble? What's up, Serum? Rasta, you're everywhere. What's up, Jeb? Bring through the chat. What's up, Never Comply? Appreciate you guys being here. Happy freedom. And I'm out of chats because we're not roping Facebook into this. Oh, I forgot to even write out my little speech. That's okay. I'm used to winging it. So today we're going to be covering a really short video. It's titled FBI Finds One Classified Document in Pence's Home. That whole situation is just embarrassing at this point. And then we will be moving on to a video titled We Don't Know Where the Object Came From, referring to the UFO. Take that how you want it, but when we covered the Pentagon, they did disclose it was unidentified. It was flying. It wasn't a spy balloon. It was an object. So we're just going to call it a UFO because that's what a UFO is. Then we will be moving forward to Petey. Don't tell Peter I said that. Peter Ducey and Hillary Vaughn, which I'm hopefully not just slandering her name. celebrate birth of their daughter, which is awesome because we fully back Peter. He's the only one in the press briefing room that has a brain, it seems. We miss him every time he's not there. Hopefully they enjoy being newly parents, because I know that's a tough job. Then we will be moving forward and wrapping things up with a video titled oh my gosh, we're gonna have one of these days. Drug cartels are profiting from Biden's border failure, immigration policies, Davidson, whoever that is. And that's what we're gonna do today, and we're gonna have a lot of fun because I said so. So give me a moment here while I get everything set up. While I'm doing that, please drop a 1 or some coffees or what have you in the chat so I know you're ready when I'm ready. Alright, as I said, this video is titled FBI finds one classified document in Pence's home. I'm going to read through the chat really quick and we will get it started. Speedy girl, I already took 2 Advil and I'm doing my best not to throw up on myself because I have a really bad stomach and I can't take anything without just feeling totally crummy. But I couldn't have my neck all locked up and still make it through the day, and I ain't got time to be napping, so I had to, you know, meet somewhere in the middle. Salty ginger, cool cloth on the back of the neck. I'm gonna have to do something, I'm thinking. What's up, Debbie I? Happy Freedom Heaven Mag. Let's see. What's up, Daddy at 3? Appreciate you being here. Happy Freedom Joshua. Bert, I agree. These beats play in my head all day, every day. Even when I'm sitting in silence, I dream of these beats. I would like some new beats too. I had a MacBook that I got from school when I was at Full Sail. I didn't get it from school. I paid $15,000 and it was a part of the package. I think $5,000 of it went to the custom laptop. But it kicked the bucket. It was from 2016 or 2013 or something, and it kicked the bucket. And because of the software I had, which was Logic Pro X, that is an Apple-only software, which is ridiculous because I think Apple is ridiculous. And so I'm trying to get my hands on Fruity Loops, but it's $500. And just like all of you, I am hurting financially. This Biden inflation is hitting all of us, and so I can't afford to get Fruity Loops or FL Studio or whatever it's called. And I need that in order to make beats. And so until I have enough, this is kind of what we're stuck in this paradox. And I am saving up and I am responsible over my spending. So I'm saving a little bit, little by little. And eventually I'll get FL Studio and I'm going to crank out so many beats. So many beats. I have so much music I want to make and I just can't do it. I'm kind of stuck in this paradox. But I hear you. There will be beats in the future. Channel Q WAP and Old Spice. Not sure what you're referencing. What's up, Kissman? What's up, Matthew? Proud ankle, I don't believe it. I think this is to make up for not taking out the last one, being vague because China would know if it's not true. Maybe, I don't know, I think there's a spelling error there, but I think I'm picking up what you're laying down. I kind of think the same thing. We didn't need the government or the news to give us pictures and video of the Chinese spy balloon because everybody has one of these. And so how come there's no images of the object that was over Alaska? How come no one's seen it? How come they can't disclose the shape and or anything really, any kind of description outside of it being the size of a small car? I think it's nonsense, and I think it's a ploy to try and regain a little bit of trust that they're protecting our skies. I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Unless it's really a UFO, which if it really was, they wouldn't tell us about it. They wouldn't tell us because they need to control us. And if we have an outside fear, like aliens or angels or whatever coming to get us, well, we're not going to care what the government has to say. We're going to run around like our heads on fire. We're going to buy all the toilet paper. We already know that's going to happen. And they don't want to lose control. So obviously it's not the UFO that, we all keep in the back of our minds. I think it's a ploy to try and regain trust and say, yeah, we knocked them right out of the sky before they even flew all over the country like we did with the spy balloon for 3 days. I don't know. I think it's a bunch of nonsense. I'm right there with you. What's up, F-Body Bill? Just reading through the chat just a little bit before we get started. We don't have a whole lot of videos and stuff, and I don't want this to be a short live because I like hanging out with you guys. Let's see. Heavy Mag, look for Alienware. I've seen Alienware stuff. They seem okay. I build all my stuff from scratch, though. My PC is, I don't want to say random parts. It's not random parts. It's high quality parts, but I pretty much build everything from scratch. I haven't bought a pre-made build since I was 14 or something like that. They have something called Scrap Day here, and I don't know if you hooligans have that, but there's a specific weekend, I think in the springtime, where you can just put whatever you want out on the road, like right on the curb there, and then everybody can go pick through your pile that's sitting in front of your house and walk away with whatever they want. And being a teenager, not having anything to do, I just went around, picked up everybody's computer towers, and I took them home and I broke them down and learned what all the parts were. And this is before we had Google and stuff. Like Yahoo was the search engine back then. I think Ask Jeeves had just come out. And yeah, just try to figure it out. I did start a fire in my bedroom, so I don't suggest you just go and figure it out on your own. We have Google and YouTube now. I did catch a motherboard on fire. I'm not quite sure how I did that. I haven't done it since. But yeah, that's how I learned how to build computers. And then, of course, I've taken classes and read books and stuff like that since then. But yeah, that's how I get down. I love breaking down computers. Proud Ankle, and they said it was not a balloon. They went out of their way to say it was different. I call it BS. Yeah, I agree. They're being real cryptic about it. I think it's nonsense, but we will see. Heavy Mag, bought one for my dad. It was like $400. Oh, for the Alienware? Yeah. If you're not a PC enthusiast and you don't want to be really hands-on and go build it piece by piece, yeah, I imagine Alienware would be the way to go. I know MSI comes out with like gaming laptops. I don't know if they actually do towers, but I like MSI stuff. Their stuff is really cool. There's another one. I'm trying to think what it is. It's like a green symbol. Oh, I can't think of what it's called. A lot of producers use those laptops because they have good processing and stuff in them. I'll have to think what it is. Either way, let's get the video started, hooligans.
Media outlets gathered outside former Vice President Mike Pence's home in Indianapolis after the FBI searched it for classified documents. The FBI said on Friday it recovered one additional government page with classified markings. The search, which Pence consented to, also resulted in 6 additional pages found without such markings that were not discovered in the initial review by the Vice President's counsel. A Justice Department official confirmed the search happened earlier in the day. Pence and his wife were not home during the search, but a member of his legal team was present, and the Justice Department was given full access to the home. It came after Pence's attorney, Greg Jacobs, notified the National Archives in a January letter about the discovery of classified documents in Pence's home. The search also comes as former President Donald Trump and President Joe Biden face investigations by 2 special counsels over the retention of classified records.
Short and sweet. That was the shortest video we got. But we already knew. That stuff's all an embarrassment. They're not going to do anything about that. They just want to compare it to the MAGA king and say, well, if he can do it, then anyone can do it. Even though that's not how the law works. But that's what they're going to do. Pence and Old Man Walter, they're in the same boat. They were VP when they took these documents, and they do not have the authority to declassify those documents. So they broke the law, but no accountability for the wicked. Alright, next we're going to cover a video about 3 minutes long. It's titled, "We Don't Know Where This Object Came From." I don't know why I can't say object. It's racist. I don't know. Just, nah, I got 3 lashings. Do some Hail Marys. Something. Good Lord. Sweet baby Jesus. So, we will get into this in a second. I want to read through the chat because I don't want anybody to be left behind. The reason I'm on top of that today is because I will not see you hooligans tomorrow, because tomorrow is my day off and I will be recharging my batteries, and I suggest all of you do the same on your day off. We'll talk more about that later. It's important that you guys hear that. Let me father you a little bit. Let me play dad a little bit, because I care about your guys' well-being, and I really mean that. Real Assistant Superb Bowl. I keep forgetting that that's a thing. People watch sports. I like to play sports. Well, I did. Now that I'm in my 30s, it'd probably make me kick the bucket, but I know a lot of you are like, 30? So come on, man. That's old for the Hooligan King, okay? Yeah, Robert, we're going to be doing some chicken bacon today. I can already tell that. I did a whole bunch when I was sitting here lining up, but I must have did it too early, and it's wearing off like old man Walter when he gets on stage. Just running out of steam. I can't say your name. Zerxo something. Why do you guys make names that I can't say? Just, I don't know. Keep that in mind next time you make a username. Any kids found in Pence's basement? No, they wouldn't say that. They would just transport them to another location in secrecy and then tell us the great things they're doing with their Title 42 or whatever it's called. I think everybody knows at this point that this is just an easy way for the government to do human trafficking, but they don't care that we know. Did you guys see the Grammys? Well, at least the clips, because I know none of us watched it. It's all coming out in the open. They're just doing demonic stuff right here in front of us because they know that nothing's gonna happen. There is no accountability for the wicked, which is super unfortunate. They're going to push us too far. Someone's going to snap, and then Pentagon will go live and say, "Oh, the white rage is spilling out into the streets." And then we'll prove them right. And I'm not really excited about those days, but I don't see how else we're going to have change. The people who are in charge aren't, they're not doing their job. They're not doing their job. All right, let's get her started, hooligans.
Is Senator from Alaska, Dan Sullivan. Senator, thank you so much for being here. Tell us what you know and what you've learned in the last few hours about this object, even where it's from.
Well, Sean and Dagan, thank you for having me on the show. It's been a busy day, another object over the great state of Alaska, my state. And I want to begin by doing a shout out to our Alaska military. These are not easy military operations. This integrated active duty forces, National Guard forces. We have search and rescue forces out in Alaska right now. But it was shot down about 1:45. They've been tracking it all night, started coming in from western Alaska near Nome. And what we don't know yet is where it came from, right? No connection yet to China, but we have a recovery operation going on right now about 8 miles off the coast of the northern part of Alaska. It's ice there right now, so hopefully we're going to find pieces in terms of the debris from this shot down object, and then we're going to know. But there's a broader issue here that I think this was important today. We need to be reestablishing deterrence over our own country with regard to these unidentified objects or spy balloons. And that's why this morning when
He didn't want to go the full length to say flying objects.
When they were tracking this,
the flying was implied.
Shoot this down. They did it. I commend them for an exceptional military operation, but there's a lot more to know, and we need answers.
Senator, you're right. Deterrence is so important in playing against China or any adversary. I was for 10 years in Congress, and I was in those joint briefings from the Pentagon, and they don't give you much information. Do you feel like you got an actual good briefing? We got all updated information from your briefers. Were they leveling with the Congress, leveling with you?
Well, Sean, as you probably know, the whole U.S. Senate was briefed yesterday on the China balloon. And that was a classified briefing. But some of the things that came out of that briefing, from my perspective, were kind of frustrating. One was they weren't sure they had the authority to shoot down a spy balloon over Alaska. U.S. authorities, I said, of course you do, right? That was a frustrating part. Today, I will say, was a little bit different. I was briefed by the NORTHCOM commander prior to the shoot down. So when they were tracking it, they gave me, I believe they gave Senator Murkowski, my colleague in the Senate, and our governor a heads up. We appreciated that. And then we got a good briefing after, and particularly from Alaska Command. That's the subordinate command of the 11th Air Force in Alaska. They do an exceptional job. There's still a lot of unanswered questions, and I think we're going to learn more when it comes to the recovery operation, which could take quite some time. But this issue of reestablishing deterrence, look, the Chinese, obviously, for the last several years, have thought they could violate American airspace with impunity. That's what they've been doing. And if this is a Chinese asset, we don't know yet, but then I think it's going to be very important that when it came in, we shot it down.
Senator Sullivan, thank you for your clarity and sharing what information you have with us. On the bottom line, we appreciate your service. Thank you.
Well, that's that on the UFO stuff. Whatever it is, it's not from China. Okay, so who's gonna stand up and raise their hand and say it was theirs? I also don't understand the whole shooting it down and then recovery process. They totally obliterate the object and then they're like, yeah, we're going to recover it, and we did it over the water, so it's gonna be submerged in water because electronics do really good in the water. Like, I don't understand why we don't capture it. It's not like we don't have the technology. We could totally capture things. Well, I don't want to go too far into detail. End up getting a strike right before the weekend. That would ruin my weekend. But I just think it's a bunch of nonsense. Of course, you guys are welcome to think whatever you want. You don't have to agree with me. I love a good challenge, but I would like some answers. They can't even tell us anything about the Chinese spy balloon, and they went on a rampage for 3 days about that. They still talk about the Chinese spy balloon, but they haven't really recovered anything. I've seen contradicting news articles back to back since it happened. Some say it had self-detonating explosives on it, and then there's articles saying, well, that we didn't find any explosives on it. Okay. Some say it was self-propelled. Others say, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. Okay. So it's a bunch of nonsense. All I know for sure is they want us staring in the sky and not anywhere else. You notice they don't talk about that warship that was on the coast. Nope, don't talk about that. They're barely covering anything going on with the border. Nope, don't look over here. Don't look at the schools. Don't do this. No, just stare in the sky. Just look in the sky and put your head in the sand. That's what they want us to do. Not us. Us hooligans. We're curious. We're like a bunch of cats. A bunch of cats out here just feeling around, see what's going on. You could tell us what you want, but, you know, we're going to do our own thing. Meow. The relic, it was nonsense. It's all nonsense. Absolutely. So this next video is titled Peter Ducey and Hillary Vaughn celebrate birth of their daughter. I swear yesterday you hooligans told me they had a boy. I might be wrong. I might have to go back and watch yesterday's live. But I swear. I seen the article. I was like, what? I thought he had a little boy. Nope. Nah, just as well. Just as well. Proud Americans having Americans. There ain't nothing wrong with that. So I will warn you guys, although they are showing little baby pictures, the commentary from them is cringy and hard to listen to. It's just not good dialogue. I don't know if it's the delay, because reporters seem to have like a 20-second delay between receiving a question and then answering it, which we talk about fairly often. It's something. It's about as bad as listening to Old Man Walter. So let's just get her started. Proud Ankle, it was a boy yesterday. Nah, botched circumstances. I don't know. You know, in today's world, you never know. When I first announced the title, 13 things went through my brain that I almost said out loud, and that could have been hate speech. And we're not going to deal with that nonsense. So, but if you guys do want to hear some of that, you should follow me on Twitter. Because I say hilarious things on Twitter. I've actually started getting warnings and stuff, and I haven't even heard anybody even mention that. I didn't even know you could get warnings. Get a big message that pops up saying, hey, other people in the community don't say stuff like this. Are you sure you want to do this? We suggest that you change your post. Good stuff. But I am hilarious on Twitter. It's like an extension of the live. You guys should totally follow me over there. All right, let's get her started.
I have been getting a lot of text messages from my friends, and they've said, hey, Steve, where's Peter? Where's Hillary? I've got an announcement. I am now a grandpa. There you can see Washington's my two favorite correspondents in Washington, Hillary and Peter, with their daughter, Bridget Blake Ducey, was born on February 1st. She's 8 pounds, 1 ounce, 21 inches long, and she was born at the same hospital as Peter's sister.
Gorgeous.
And she is just adorable. Look at that baby.
Congratulations.
And look,
what is he saying about
so
being
beautiful.
a dad?
Well, I think it's just as you find out when you're a new parent, it's just overwhelming. The baby's up every couple of hours, and Peter's just trying to figure it all out.
Look at these gorgeous photos.
Kathy and I are going to go down and probably take over for them so they can leave the house for 15 minutes.
Or get some sleep.
Right, exactly.
Just take care of one of the feedings.
I know it. By the way, Bridget was born on February 1st, which they had already selected the day, but as it turns out, February 1st is St. Bridget Day, and she is the patron.
Hold on a second, something weird just happened.
Take care of one of the feedings.
I know it. By the way, Bridget was born on February 1st, which they had already selected the day, but as it turns out, February 1st is St. Bridget Day. And she is the patron saint of babies and other things from Ireland. More importantly, St. Bridget is known for turning water into beer. I don't know exactly how they do that. But we're hoping to this Bridget waits until she's 21. She would be a Doocy.
So she's named after St. Bridget. Beautiful.
I know, really, really cute.
It's so
Bridget
beautiful, Steve.
Blake
You have to be
Ducey.
so proud.
We are really proud, and I know Hillary and Peter are watching right now. At the Christmas party at the White House, Hillary and Peter walked over, and the president talked to him, and Peter said, "Do you have any advice for me, Mr. President? We're having a daughter," and he seemed touched by it. And then he said, "You know what, Peter? Hold her close. Just hold her close."
That's sweet.
And Peter says, "That's good advice."
That's sweet. You know, some babies are born, their hair color changes.
Yeah.
I have a feeling this baby's going to have blonde hair, right, Lawrence?
That's right.
Why they ask Lawrence?
Hillary.
Well, Peter was
Up until last week, they thought he was going to come out a little more tan.
just kind of fell out.
Poor baby.
His hair is kind of strawberry blonde.
Okay.
Really, really cute.
Congratulations, Steve.
beautiful
We're really happy
family.
for you.
Thank you very much. And Kathy and I are standing by. You know, with our 3 children, we were always rule followers, but now that we are grandparents, we are going to be rule breakers.
Yes.
And if the baby wants to have dinner at Dairy Queen,
That's
let's
right.
go.
Yeah, you
Let's
get
go.
to spoil the grandkids and then give them back.
That's right.
Steve,
Gotta go.
I look
Baby
forward to the cookbook on how to make baby food. I'm sure
Right.
that's next in the household.
Right.
Probably not far.
All right, guys.
All right, Lawrence, the rest of the show, please call me Grandpa.
Oh, yeah, what'd you
That's
decide?
right.
Have you decided a name yet?
I've been told it's not my choice. The baby's going to
Baby
wind
will
up saying
decide.
something, and so whatever it
They
is.
turn out to be the cutest names.
But Larry, you can call me Grandpa.
That's right. He does that Larry thing because he knows I hate that name.
Hates it.
I told you guys it was super cringy. It's not the baby and it's not the granddad talk and all that stuff. It's the overlapping dialogue, weird references, like saying the baby's Saint Bridget or something. It has to do with turning water into beer. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? It's a little baby. Why are you bringing beer into this? What is wrong with you? And then, I don't know, there's just a lot there. There is a lot of cringy stuff there. I'm trying to see. Someone said my thoughts are right there out loud. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, old man Walter. Could you imagine getting fatherly advice from old man Walter? Save it. Save it, old man Walter. We see how your kids turned out. No thank you. You don't know anything about being a dad. No thank you. Yeah, I don't know. And then they're just trying to like involve the guy on the far right. Just trying to get him to talk. You can see he's all uncomfortable and stuff. And then he leans over and goes, "You can call me Grandpa." Nah, we're not gonna do that, but thanks anyways. Either way, big shout out and congratulations to Peter Ducey for being a new dad. Being a dad is important, just as much as being a mom. Unfortunately, there's a lot of guys that either can't be there or won't be there for their kids. And now you see how the world's running. It's not good. It's not good. It's good to see dads actually being dads. That's my opinion. So our last video for today is titled "Drug Cartels Are Profiting from Biden's Border Failure, Immigration Policies." A person named Davidson. We're going to get started on that in a moment. I'm going to read through the chat really quick.
New CBP numbers.
I have autoplay turned off and they still just play the videos. Just, you know, it's alright. It's alright. Edward, I'm not sure exactly what you're saying, but I'm not going to call you daddy. I'm sorry. Salty Ginger must be Irish. Explains it all. I don't know. I got a little Irish in me, and I don't know. I guess I don't know enough about the culture, but could be. It could be. I just thought it was a little inappropriate to bring beer up when you're talking about a baby, but, you know, maybe I'm wrong for that. Proud ankle. There's so much stuff like that I would like to say, but just I don't want to spend the weekend worrying about getting a strike. What's up, Miss Jamie? Welcome to the live. Armor, I like this beat. I appreciate it. There's actually 3 beats on the list that won't play, and I had to write customer service. And just like everything else in my life, I'm the only person to have ever had this problem, ever. And so they had to bring it up to the super duper customer service help team technicians. It's been 2 weeks now, and they sent me an email saying, "We still don't know what's wrong with your beat player that we created and wrote code for and put together for you. We don't know what's wrong with it, but we'll let you know when we do. Until then, 3 of your beats on the list just don't work." Life's grand. Can't let the little things get you down, though. Cheeky Chops, I'm gonna get that put on my tombstone when I kick the bucket. Here lies JeffMAC Thug Boss Cake. That's my code name. That's my covert name. It's not Riot Whisperer. It's not the Hooligan King. Nope, it's the Thug Boss Cake. Only when I'm on stage shaking my thing for the only hooligans for $3.99 a month, all this glory could be yours. You hooligans crack me up. Edward, what I was saying is most women call me daddy. About 100 say I'm the father. Better be careful out there, Edward. You never know. You might catch something. Something you can't throw back. You don't want that. Diane, Irish blood explains why you're a rebel. Well, I'm Irish, Scottish, Italian. Some insist that I have Native American in me because I just can't grow any facial hair right here at all. Just doesn't grow. I didn't have facial hair here until last year, and that's because of the stress of the riots and all you hooligans. That's where I got all these little sprinkly gray hairs and the lightness up here too. It's your guys' fault. See, they say when you have kids, it really takes a toll on you. Well, try having 60,000 hooligans. Really wears you down. It's the thing, you know, like,
come on, man.
It's just one of those things. Thank you so much, Sassafras, for that $5 donation. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, so I don't know if having all that blend of herbs and spices in my DNA makes me sassy and a rebel or what. I don't know. I just don't know. Walk my own path. Try to do it standing tall. What's up, Paul? Welcome to the live. What's up, Soul For Real? Happy freedom. Never comply. I was permanently banned from Call of Duty. How do you do that? I say terrible things on there. Not racist things. Don't think I'm saying that, because I don't say racist things at all. Because that's weak sauce. I don't have to say racist things. I can put words together that aren't even swear words that make you want to just snap your disc in half. Just make you want to question the choices you make in life. I say terrible things on there. A lot of times I'm the one that dies on Call of Duty, and the things I say makes the people that smoked me stand there in silence. That's a real victory. I'll lose and win at the same time. So I have no idea what you did to get banned from Call of Duty. Congratulations, I guess. Just wow, amazing. All right, this is our last one, and then we'll be wrapping it up. This is titled "Drug Cartels Are Profiting from Biden's Border Failure Immigration Policies."
New CBP numbers released yesterday show that there were more than 156,000 migrant encounters in January, totaling nearly 875,000 illegals crossing in 2023 so far. And for Americans thinking of vacationing in Mexico, the State Department is issuing their strongest do not travel warning, saying you should avoid going to 6 states in the country. They cite the rise of crime and kidnapping. Here to react is senior editor at The Federalist, John Daniel Davidson. John, thank you for joining us this morning. This warning by the State Department is quite serious. I'm going to tell you the list of other countries that have a similar warning from the State Department: Iran, Iraq, North Korea, Ukraine, Haiti, Somalia, and Syria. Definitely not places that we would consider paradise to vacation in. And now Mexico's on that list. What's happening to Mexico, and why is it falling into this category?
Yeah, the simple answer is that Mexico is being taken over by massive and powerful drug cartels. And these cartels have expanded their operations far beyond drug trafficking. They're involved in mass industrial scale extortion and kidnapping operations, migrant smuggling. They're involved in major industries in Mexico. In some cases, they've taken over state and local governments. These are multinational criminal syndicates operating inside what amounts to a failing state. We would never allow, let's say, Syria to be on our southern border and collapse into chaos and anarchy, but that's essentially what's happening in Mexico right now.
So it's so interesting, and you're absolutely right. It's turning into a narco state. Is that how much of this has to do with the Biden policies, and is that the sort of deal they're willing to accept? You know, in order to get this illegal immigration in and open our borders, we're willing to accept a failed narco state on our southern border.
I think the Biden administration, like a lot of Democrat administrations, views foreign policy through a domestic politics lens. So to them, mass illegal immigration is just sort of a proxy for our domestic political squabbles, but it really is a national security problem. This problem goes back a long time in Mexico. Successive administrations have ignored it and failed to understand it, and now it's getting worse. And so the illegal immigration we see coming in fuels and funds these cartels. They make billions and billions of dollars off our immigration policies and off the Biden administration's failure to secure the border.
Yeah, they're more powerful than ever. You point out they control 35 to 40% of Mexican territory. I mean, it's frightening. They're interfering with Mexican elections. I mean, we worry about big tech here. They worry about big tech and cartels influencing the elections, right?
That's right. In fact, the line between, the government and the cartels in many places in Mexico has become blurred and almost indistinguishable. We see the most powerful cartel in Mexico, the Sinaloa cartel, is aligned with the ruling Moreno party of President Lopez Obrador. And we saw that in the last round of national and state elections in Mexico, where Moreno won in Sinaloa state, thanks to the help of the cartel. So there's a real collusion. I know Democrats like to use the word collusion. There's a real collusion between the Mexican government and these cartels, and U.S. policymakers have got to wake up to this and get real about what's really happening on the southern border.
Yeah, you have done amazing investigation and reporting on this. I thank you for raising the alarm on it. And as you say, it is a national security issue of the highest order. John Daniel Davidson, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
You got it.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian.
Channel Q, you got to play the video of old man Walter giving a speech on how he tried 4 times to end Social Security. Yeah, we actually played it yesterday. It was part of a Fox article, I think. It was either yesterday or the day before. It was talking about how, I don't know, he would sound like an idiot for the State of the Union address. And then they played that old footage of him being a senator or whatever he used to be, and ranting and raving how he keeps trying to end it and they won't pass it and this, that, and the other. And now he's complaining that that's red team. Red team won't do it because whatever selfish reason, something about holding the country hostage is what they keep referring to it as. But yeah, we played it either yesterday or the day before. Well, you'll fit right in here, Juicer. I appreciate you. What's up, White Mountain? Appreciate you being here. We're actually about to wrap this up. Channel Q, I was having surgery yesterday. All right, 1 second. Let me see if I can find it. Well, I can't find it on my list. I'm just going to look it up really quick. It's only going to take 2 seconds. All we're going to do is wrap this up anyways. So might as well just, hang out for a bit. Thank you so much, Hair Juicer, for that $2 donation. I appreciate you. Thank you. I believe this is the video. Biden's past attempt to freeze Social Security and Medicare goes viral after the State of the Union address. We may have to skip through this. It says it's 52 minutes. We're not gonna listen to all of that.
Mr. President, to state the obvious, the Senate has begun debate on a proposed amendment to the Constitution, and this is, as it ought to be, a solemn moment in the life of our Constitution. For what we debate today, and I expect in the following weeks, is whether to change or to alter, to modify the basic document of governance that we've operated under. Since 1791, the year the Bill of Rights was ratified, members of Congress have introduced over 10,000.
That doesn't sound at all like the old man Walter we got to deal with today.
The Republican majority is making their weight felt here. We have not only this amendment, but I don't know how many more to amend the Constitution. But there have been over 10,000 proposed amendments to our Constitution. Of those 10,000, we in Congress have approved just 22, and of the 22, just 17 have been ratified by 3/4 of the states and have become part of the Constitution.
Miss Jamie, how does he have more hair now? I was just thinking the same thing.
Most profound constitutional responsibilities as we consider a change in our fundamental charter. It is one of the glories of the United States Constitution that it's been so resilient. Its authors' insight into human behavior and political institutions have proved accurate from our early years as an outpost on the coast of the New World to our current status of a space-age superpower. Few changes have been necessary to permit the Constitution to keep pace with our
1995 space-age superpower
revolutions that have transformed our nation since its founding. But in recent decades, we've faced a problem we don't seem to be able to solve. We can't balance our budget, or more correctly, we will not. And to put it in even sharper focus, I think it's much less important that our budget be balanced. There's nothing magic about the budget being balanced. But what is critically important is our deficit continue to decline, and that we have a small deficit, if any deficit at all. At the beginning of the Reagan administration, we swerved from the course that
any form of this is shame. You see people doing that, whatever's going through their mind is shame.
A path.
It's a huge tell.
To where we are today, in the so-called Laffer curve. Speaking of laughers, it's probably the ultimate laugher, is the Laffer curve. Many of us have worked to impose disciplines needed to restrain the temptation to spend beyond what we tax. When the Reagan administration deficits began, I proposed, along with Senator Grassley, and he mentioned this earlier, and Senator Kassebaum, that we freeze every single solitary program in the government, that anything the government had to do with, every single solitary one, that we not spend a penny more, not even accounting for inflation, than we spent the year before. Although I wrote the plan with my two Republican colleagues, we received very little support from either side of the aisle. I think our high water mark 3 years later was 38 votes. I also support it. The Graham-Rudman process has been much maligned here in the Congress. It has not worked, but I would argue absent Graham-Rudman, things would even be worse than they are today. That put caps on the amount of deficits allowed and required a balanced budget, but the requirements changed every year, and the only constant in the process was the annual increase in the national debt and the guarantee of annual deficits. Those aren't the only things that we've tried. From the point over 10 years ago when I offered my own constitutional amendment to balance the federal budget, which you might expect me to say, parenthetically, I think is a superior document to then the one we're about to vote on this year, up to my vote for Senator Reid's balanced budget amendment last year. I've held that this is an issue worthy of constitutional consideration. Many suggest that this is not an issue worthy of constitutional consideration. Well, the fact of the matter is, I think my friend from Illinois is correct when he keeps quoting and referencing Jefferson. If this is not worthy of constitutional consideration, how we are able to bind or not bind future generations, I'm not sure what is worthy of constitutional consideration. That in no way undercuts the opposing argument that writing fiscal policy into a constitution or into a document of governance is a difficult and maybe impossible thing. But the notion that this is not worthy of constitutional consideration, I think, is not accurate. The decision to encumber future generations with financial obligations is one that can rightly be considered among the fundamental choices addressed in the Constitution. But from the first time the resolution before us here today was proposed, I've been concerned that it could bring with it problems that, taken together, could be.
Could you imagine old man Walter talking this clearly and
we are all worried about. In the Judiciary Committee, I described some of those concerns.
elegantly? Nowadays, never heard him speak so clearly in my life.
I perceive to be at least problems in this resolution, this constitutional amendment. Some of us tried to make this a better proposal, and we tried to avoid tying up the courts with constitutional questions about such important details as the President's role in enforcing the balanced budget. We tried to keep the Social Security Trust Fund off budget, where it is now and where it should stay. We tried to assure that the real cost of the balanced budget amendment, and not just its surface allure, are known to the citizens who will be asked to ratify this amendment in coming months. We tried to provide a capital budget to treat public investments the way families, businesses, and states treat their own investments. And these and other amendments were not accepted. And the reason they weren't accepted, and you'll hear it repeatedly, my friend from Utah has referenced it, and it's the one thing that worries me most about this. I'm one of those, quote, undecided votes. There are, I'm told, 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 of us in this place who do not oppose the notion that we have a mechanism in the Constitution to deal with deficits, but are very unsure of this mechanism. The camps generally divide into 2 areas. One who suggests that this is bad policy, period, to put anything in the Constitution, and those who suggest this is the only answer. I am with a handful, or maybe a couple handfuls of people here who find myself believing that it is not inappropriate, but believing that what we have before us may not do the job. Sometimes I've been here long enough to realize that there are often the unintended consequences of our actions sometimes are worse than the problem we've attempted to cure. So where do we stand now? We have before us the balanced budget amendment, about which many of us have expressed serious reservations, the effects of which are, in both the short and the long term, cannot be predicted with any degree of certainty, although we'll find plenty of people on the floor who will predict with certainty how this will work. I think any reasonable person, though, will acknowledge that it's almost impossible to predict with a degree of certainty what will happen if this passes. I hope that we can improve the proposal by adopting amendments that will be offered here and debated. But there's a second refrain you'll hear on the floor, I expect, time and time again. This is the best we could do. This is the best we could do. We have to pass exactly what the House sent to us because we've never been so close before. We have to take what's before us. For example, I will, in my statement, the opening statement here, before us. For example, I will, in my statement, the opening statement here, make reference to some governors and others who have suggested that a capital budget's a good idea. when I ask people why it's a bad idea, the senator from Illinois gives me his well-thought-out rationale why it's not necessary or why it's counterproductive.
It doesn't look at all like old man Walter from that side profile.
We can't tamper with this because it's the only game in town now. We're getting perilously close. And we
Keep an eye on that. Forehead pushed out more than pretty much from the nose down.
That's not
old man Walter, not the one we know.
Way to deal with amending the Constitution. I cannot say that I'm optimistic that the improvements, from my perspective, improvements that I and others will suggest will be accepted. And I fear that there are those who will believe that the mere fact that some of us, or speak for myself, will suggest improvements, that's really designed to kill the amendment. The truth of the matter is it's designed to make it better. I, again, will speak to specific changes I'd like to see, but I will argue at every point that any of the changes I've suggested would not in any way undermine the principle of this amendment and would make it more workable, not less workable. Whether or not we amend this amendment, Mr. President, this balanced budget amendment may in fact change our ways. Perhaps we'll use the opportunity of a constitutional constraint and make the tough choices to restore sobriety to our budget process. I devoutly hope so. Of course, it may be that we will decide that the economic and political cost of annual budget balance are not worth the benefits. It may be that we will make use of both the legitimate escape clauses in this amendment and others, unforeseen devices to evade the intent of the amendment. Mr. President, I hope we do not if this passes. Now, we, quite frankly, cannot be sure that a vote for this amendment will have the effect the authors promise. But we can be sure that if we try nothing, we will remain on the path that we've been on for too many years now, with a notable exception in the last 3 years under the leadership of this president. Now, I know, all Democrats are big spenders and all Republicans are conscientious with the taxpayers' dollars. Obviously, history does not support that conclusion. Just if we had not had the Reagan budgets that we all voted on, I mean, we could have stopped them. But if we not had the Reagan budgets and that unusual theory of the Laffer curve, we would...
the throat clearing kind of sound authentic.
Right now, just because of the interest accumulated and the debt that's occurred as a consequence of...
Slowly but surely. I guess he is becoming old man Walter, isn't he?
The Reagan and the Democratic Congress, both. But we'll hear a good deal of hyperbole on this amendment, promises by those that it's going to cure all, and
the guy we deal with is totally an actor.
To go to hell in
the enunciation of words is not the same.
I hope we kind of keep our eye on the ball here and at least have an open mind to the prospect that we can make this amendment better and still have an amendment. We will continue to add every year to the debt burden of future generations. We'll steal today from the future, squeezing out the savings and investments that could increase our future wealth if we don't do something about stopping the size of these deficits, even if we don't balance the budget, if we don't make a remarkable change in the debt accumulated. The senator from Iowa pointed out, I think I heard him say, I would stand to be corrected, but I think he said in 1969, the last time we balanced the budget, every tax dollar collected 6 cents or thereabouts went to pay interest on the debt, and every tax dollar collected in 1993 or 94.
The guy next to him almost looks like Billy Graham, but considering who's standing there blabbering on, you know that's not Billy Graham.
So 29 cents, I believe, was the number he gave, or 26 cents goes just to pay interest on the debt. I'm sure someone has looked out over the next 15 years and concluded if we stay on the track, even the one predicted by the President of the United States, that we will be providing for an increasingly larger share of every tax dollar just to go to reduce interest on the debt. And to me, that's the driving force behind this amendment. To me, the beginning, middle, and end is not whether there's a magic about having a balanced budget amendment It's not whether or not there's any magic about it being actually in balance. It's not whether or not we come close. It's about that increasingly larger proportion of the tax dollars collected going for the most useless investment of paying interest on the debt. When I introduced the budget freeze years ago, the liberals in my party said, it's an awful thing you're doing, Joe. You are all the programs we care about, you're freezing them. Money for the blind, the disabled, education, and so on. And my argument then is the one I make now, which is the strongest, most compelling reason to be for this amendment or an amendment, and that is that if we don't do that, all the things I care most about are going to be gone. Gone. So what have we had? We end up with essentially a net reduction in the programs that I cared about over the last 10 years, a net increase in other programs, and a net increase in the portion of the budget that goes to pay interest on the debt. So the people I care most about, the reason I run for public office in the first place, are the people that got hurt the most in this process and are likely to get hurt the most because they're the weakest in our society. The idea that the interest groups of the PTAs are going to come down here to continue to support money for education versus money for tax expenditures for major businesses, I have no doubt who's going to win that fight. I have no doubt how that's going to turn out. So we'll continue to tie our hands and our ability, indeed our responsibility, to set national priorities in our annual budget process because of the interest on the debt required to be paid every year. This year, the interest on the national debt will cost us $235 billion. The entire discretionary budget will be $253 billion. Now, we use phrases like that, discretionary budget, and my staff writes that stuff in, and I keep telling them nobody in the world but people in this chamber and in the Beltway know what discretionary budget means. Let me translate. That's everything from the FBI to education, from help for the mentally retarded to the Library of Congress. That's everything. Everything out there that people think is the place where we're wasting money, that people think is the place we can cut to cut the deficit. Doesn't include Social Security. It does not include it doesn't include entitlement programs. It doesn't include interest on the debt. The point is, it's all those things that everybody, when I go home, says, Joe, if you just cut the waste in government, if we shut down every department in the government, we would in effect have an inability to balance the budget in the out years, because we're already talking about interest on the debt equaling almost the same amount of money of all the money we spend on the government for what the average person thinks are government expenditures. They don't usually think of Social Security as a government expenditure. They don't think of the things that we generally talk about as the big ticket items here as expenditures. By the time this amendment is intended to become law in the year 2002, interest on our debt will be $344 billion, larger than every other category in the budget except Social Security. That's just interest on the debt. If we do nothing, our inability to control the growth of debt and the cost of carrying that debt will tie our hands, preventing us from shifting resources to meet changing needs, which is the essence, in my view, of responsible budgeting, responsible government. So, Mr. President, the question before us today and for the future weeks is not the simple one, are you for balancing the budget or not? Under most circumstances, everyone would agree that we should balance our books. No, it seems to me, Mr. President, the question is, does our repeated failure—
It's been a while since I had to ban someone.
—necessitate a response that all of us agrees is extraordinary, and that is amending the Constitution? It is by no means clear that the amendment before us will eliminate deficits. It certainly will make deficits more difficult, which in and of itself is a worthy undertaking. But with 3/5 vote, we can in fact continue to borrow. And I hope no one is under the delusion that by hook or by crook, some future Congress—
24/7. Dr. Jill saw this and said, oh boy, I want that.
In this amendment.
And that. And she's groupie of the year right now. My goodness.
We should have no.
I think I seen a video or something saying she used to be the babysitter, and once his wife kicked the bucket, well, she just kind of filled in the gap there.
The opponents of this amendment, quite frankly, overstate the case, though. I expect the supporters
It's a bloopy.
budget amendment will, as they already have, proclaim it as a panacea that will cure the structural deficit in a way that democratically elected legislatures
Tim, they didn't survive it. They were in the chat about 2.5 seconds, and they thought they were going to tell me about me. Good for them. They can go tell their little friends about it, because we ain't hearing it over here.
The opponents of this amendment may agree that it will drastically change our government, but they will argue for the work.
Yeah, Rasta.
I expect they will describe the pain that deep cuts will cause to the American people, the elderly, the poor, the military, the farmers, and the rest who depend on government, and paint a bleak picture of life under a balanced budget regime. I say to my colleagues on both sides of this debate that all these claims overstate the case. This amendment will not magically cause deficit to disappear. The hard work of cutting must still be done, and it should be done by us. I mean, evidence the fact that everybody acknowledges that the president's budget package reduced the deficit. Yet everyone went out last year and ran on this gigantic tax increase. It increased it only for the very wealthy. Middle-class taxpayers paid no more. They, in fact, got reductions in some cases, and those were lower middle-class income taxpayers with children. They got an actual reduction in their taxes. But yet, this horrible thing we did, which touched the top 1%.
Channel Q, she's also a model. Jill Handler's a model?
So horrible and so
I guess. A model of an example of what not to do is someone's wife.
that we would freeze spending.
Goodness.
The other side couldn't even muster up the courage to give one single solitary vote for that, reducing the budget deficit by $500 billion over the out years, the immediate year and on out.
Look at his snake smile.
It actually went down. Yet, we talk about if they couldn't muster the courage for that vote, which obviously cost a lot politically, because if you notice, there's fewer desks on this side of the aisle than there are on that side of the aisle now. Obviously, they were right politically anyway. The fact of the matter is, you couldn't muster the courage for that vote. How are we going to find over $1 trillion to cut? I mean, this is incredible. It's incredible the degree of self-delusion you will see us all engage in over the next couple days, the next couple weeks. Nor will this amendment turn democratically elected officials in Congress, as the opponents say, into hard-hearted authoritarians who will ignore the cries of their constituents. That's what my friends opposed to this amendment basically say. Under this amendment, the economy will falter and need shoring up. That's going to happen no matter what we pass. Anyone tell me that this amendment's going to take us out of the cycles we've been in for the past 200 years, particularly the past 60 years? The economy will falter at some point, and it will need shoring up. Foreign dictators will rattle their swords, and we'll be called upon to respond by spending billions of dollars to send armies somewhere. Rains will fall and planes will flood, and federal disaster release will be called for to the tunes of billions of dollars. I remember it was my friend from Illinois section of the country when he and others were in here pleading that we should continue to reroute the Mississippi and every other river in America, and we should reimburse people for that disaster. And most of us stepped up to the ball and helped. Now our friends in the West Coast are accurately pointing out that there's billions of dollars worth of damage because of earthquakes and fires and floods and rains. Are they going to stop? Is anyone going to suggest that this balanced budget amendment is going to send a message to God as well and say, okay, God, we balanced our budget, now you hold off from here on?
How did that slide through smoothly?
And the need to support the
I don't think you could say something like that now.
Supported us when we needed it will not diminish. It's going to grow. Costs will grow. And on and on and on and on. I predict that from time to time, perhaps more frequently, 3/5 of us in Congress will agree that some need of our people is so great that we'll agree that this year we will not balance the budget, or this year we will screw up the courage to have people pay for what they say they want through the tax code. I realize that's a horrible thing to suggest. I always find it kind of interesting. Everything that we hear about the balanced budget, with notable exception of my friend from Illinois and a few others are the chief sponsors of this, always in the terms of cut spending. I mean, whatever happened to that old conservative discipline about paying for what you spend? Paying for what you spend. I thought that meant that if you spend, then you ought to tell people how much it's going to cost to spend. If they don't want us to spend, then we shouldn't spend.
7, he can't put 3 sentences together now. I'm saying. We're dealing with an actor nowadays, because it ain't this guy.
Suggested here is just a sham on the part of the opponents of the balanced budget amendment, saying, tell us how it's going to work. Well, I'm not an opponent of that amendment, but I want to tell you, it doesn't seem to be unrealistic for someone to lay out, at least in broad details, how it's going to work. Those say, well, wait.
Like, how did he go from having veneers to no veneers? That's what I want to know, because this guy has veneers. He has fake teeth. Those teeth are implanted by, you know, an orthodontist or something. But now old man Walter, his teeth are not veneers. He has his regular teeth. And for a lot of people who don't understand how crowns work, they shave your teeth down and cement those porcelain teeth on top, unless they're implants, which I doubt they had back then. Now old man Walter has just, you know, God-given teeth, and you could tell because they're not straight, they're not white, they got pieces of baby in them still. And that's a huge tell, because even if he had the veneers removed, he'd have little pointy teeth in his mouth like a gremlin, because they have to shave your teeth down. And that's another tell outside of the ear thing going on and the change in the hairdo and all that.
In the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time.
Hold on, I just talked over the whole point of watching this.
Tell me in here, we should tell the American people. I look at the polls out there. For example, I want to go on record. I'm up for re-election this year, and I'm going to remind everybody what I did at home, which is going to cost me politically. When I argued that we should freeze federal spending, I meant Social Security as well. I meant Medicare and Medicaid. I meant veterans benefits. I meant every single solitary thing in the government. And I not only tried it once, I tried it twice, I tried it a third time, and I tried it a fourth time. Somebody has to tell me in here how we're going to do this hard work without dealing with any of those sacred cows, some deserving more protection than others. I'm not quite sure how you get from here to there, but I am sure that we should tell the American people straight up that such an amendment is going to require some big changes. The balanced budget amendment will not end our deficit in one fell swoop, and it will cause our nation, nor will it cause our nation to turn its back overnight on those who depend on us. All it means is, the one thing the senator from Utah said, we'll have to stand up more often and be counted on these things. I find that a good thing, not a bad thing. As we begin this debate,
Well, we've heard all we need to hear. No need to go on and on. The whole point of capturing this was to hear him say that he not only tried to, you know, cut Social Security and Medicaid, which he supposedly is trying to defend right now, but he tried 3 or 4 times, and it just kept getting shot down, which is the opposite of what he's saying today. And they're literally saying, oh, well, he's holding the country hostage, blah, 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 because the red team won't cut or whatever. They want to cut this, and we won't let them because we have so many blue team people that are on Medicaid and Social Security and all this other stuff early on and whatever. And I understand people need that, and I'm not even going to have it by the time I'm eligible. They've told us that since I was in like 4th grade. They were like, don't plan on collecting Social Security. You better go make $1 million hairs because it's not going to be available for you. But he's trying to blame the red team about this stuff and say, you know, just like KJP says, oh, they're holding the country hostage, da-da-da-da-da. Well, then we have this footage from 1995 where he's contradicting what he's saying right now. And I'm pretty convinced after watching 26 minutes of that nonsense that we're dealing with somebody other than this guy. Because this guy, it's not the same old man Walter that we got to listen to today. That's my 2 cents on the topic. That I wanted to comment on this up here. Let's see. JB. God gave Joe nothing. Devil made his mouth work. God gave him the mouth. He just let the devil corrupt his thoughts. Those words coming out, it's not from God. Not at all. Alright, hooligans. Well, that's that for today. I'm going to read through the chat really quick. I'm going to give you guys my spiel. Then we're going to do the Pledge of Allegiance. And then we're going to wrap this up. Channel Q, remember the Publicans used to be blue. I don't know a whole lot about it. Until 2 years ago, I didn't know which one was the red team or the blue team. I also didn't know which one was the left one or the right one because I never cared about politics. I honestly still don't care about politics. But dealing with the George Floyd riots and all that stuff just kind of pulled me into all of this. And as time went on and the riots calmed down, I had to learn more about how government worked and stuff. And I did all that learning sitting right here in front of all of you hooligans. And you guys helped me along the way, helped me understand things. Because instead of telling me how stupid I am, you just provided information and links and stuff for me to read so I could gain a little bit of education here. And we are where we are. But no, as far as looking back prior to 3 years ago, I don't know much about anything. Other than like events that happened, I don't know much about government. And even now, we pay so much attention and we hear so many things, you know, good things and bad things to come. But really, we kind of stay down the middle. So, I mean, we kind of do this wandering thing. Most of what's said, I would say probably 70% of what's said on the TV doesn't actually happen. We wait for it to happen, but it doesn't happen. Think about how many times you see people say, oh, we're going to have riots. It's been 3 years. It's been 3 years since we've had riots, and people still think we're going to. And, I mean, I'm right there with you. Half the time we see people, you know, protest and stuff, but look at the Tyree Nichols thing. Oh, they were trying to burn down Atlanta over that and whatever. Or maybe, oh, no, it was Memphis. Nobody talks about it now. It's all over now. They don't even talk about it. And everybody got mad at me because I uncovered those protests. Sorry I didn't grift it. I know everybody loves to call each other grifters and stuff. Sorry I didn't benefit off those people's misery and ignorance. It was my day off. I took my day off because I knew it was a bunch of nonsense. If it was going to lead on to something, I would have covered it. But I'm not a grifter. I care about the information that we put out. I care about the way that what I say and what I show affects other people. I care about not providing hopium because that's a big thing. That's why we kicked all those Q people out and stuff, because it just makes people all gassed up thinking good things are going to happen or bad things are going to happen, and everybody's making life decisions based on that. And then that day comes and goes, and then everybody realizes it was a bunch of nonsense. And I don't want to house hate, and I don't want to house nonsense, because I actually care about what we do. I sit here and eat, sleep, breathe, bleed, cry over this stuff every single day. This is super important to me. And I know a lot of people take, you know, what happens here really serious. And so, you know, I try to lighten the mood and make things funny. But no grifting over here. Nah, we don't do that over here. I appreciate you guys so much. Before I give you my spiel, because I know that makes everybody walk out, what I think is most important is that you guys understand when it's your day off, play. Do something you genuinely enjoy. And I mean it. I really mean it. If you need a break, take a break. The opposite of work is play. It is not rest. That's why you can sit there all weekend, or whenever your day off is. You can watch TV, sit there in your underwear or less, and do nothing all weekend. But when it's time to go back to work, you don't want to go. You have no energy. Your weekend wasn't long enough. It's because you spent all that time resting, and rest is important. I am not saying that rest is not important. But you have to play, or you will not recharge your batteries. When you're playing, whether it's the game, or a movie you like, or you're on a walk, or you're having a conversation with someone that you enjoy having conversations with, you notice how time just passes you by? Time flies when you're having fun, right? That's because you're in what's called the flow. The flow is what recharges your batteries. 2 hours of flow can reset your batteries to go do 10 hours of work, 20 hours of work, 40 hours of work, because play is so important. I'm not talking out of my rear end. You can go look this up. I learned this stuff in psychology, and I never let it leave me because it's important. Go play. It'll recharge your batteries. A little bit goes a long way. And then when it's time to work, you'll work hard. You'll be determined, you'll be assertive, and you will get things done. And that's how all of us are. We sit here and we burn out on the news and what's going to happen and possibilities. Got to take a break, but just resting isn't enough. So when it's your day off, please go play. And then come back and tell me about it, because I love hearing about it. And do whatever makes you happy. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I mean, I can make suggestions, I suppose. And if you want suggestions, go ahead and email me. I'll let you know. I do all kinds of stuff. I open Pokemon cards. I sit here and play with goofy toys and stuff because it makes me happy. I don't care. You can tell me how stupid I am. It's not going to bother me. I'm in the business of being happy. And so I do what makes me happy because I got to recharge my batteries so I can come back here and do this, the serious stuff, the hard work. And I want you guys to do the same. When it's time to work, work. If you're burned out, it's because you're not playing enough. And of course, rest. Take breaks. It'll help prevent the burnout. Take a break. Coast as long as you can. And when it's time to go back to work and you feel the drain, the dry nothingness inside, that's the alarm bells in your body letting you know it's time to play. Go out there and play. All right, time for the spiel. All right, hooligans, when you get a second, please go to jeffmaclive.com. You can find the links in the description on any platform you're watching right now. On the home page, we have all of my links listed. You can find the links to join Gilded for free. Gilded is currently the best way to receive notifications for when and where we go live, every time we go live. You'll also receive notifications for important updates and other things I feel you guys should know. There's a news board on Gilded to keep you up to date with everything going on around the world. And there's also a ton of hooligans in there to hang out with all day, every day, to chat it up pretty much about whatever you want. So definitely join Gilded. Also on the Jeff Mac Live homepage, you can find the links to the merch store. If you would like to grab some merch, we have shirts, hoodies, stickers, and coffee mugs. Everything is displayed in black and white or white and black. But if you find something you like, just click on the item to see all the colors that the item comes in. You can also find links on the Jeff Mac Live homepage to PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Stripe, Zelle, and Buy Me a Coffee if you would like to support what I do. There's also links to the Amazon wish list if you would like to send me stuff. It's really easy to use. Anything you purchase directly from the list will be sent straight to me without you having to come find an address or send me an email or anything like that. It's really simple. And then finally, on the Jeff Mac Live homepage, you can find links to join the membership programs. We have membership programs for YouTube, Gilded, Discord, Odyssey, Rumble, Twitter, and Twitch. So that's my spiel. Let's get ready for the pledge, hooligans. My neck is all locked up. I feel like I need to crack it, and I can't. It's killing me. All right. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. JB, my wife said you're 100% right about play. Well, you know what they say about wives. They're always right. I appreciate you, hooligans. That is all I have for today. Tomorrow is my day off, so I'll be out there going to play. But I will see you on Monday for another episode of Coffee with Hooligans, and hopefully I see all of you guys here. Yeah. So, if today's your day off, go play. If it's not, when it is, go play. I care about your well-being. I really mean that. So, I will see you guys on the next live. Big shout out to everyone that made donations, joined the membership program, or purchased any merch. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate you, and I would not be able to do this without you. So thank you guys so much for all your support. I'll see you on the next live. Until then, stand tall, shine bright, and that's a wrap.